Say hi. Yes, good job. Hello everyone, it is Ethereal Mother, your favorite, and Rubio is here too. So today we're going to get into the astrological things that are happening in March 2025, because it's going to be a very chaotic month. So let's see what we have in store for us. So okay, let's get into it because it's going to be insane. But I think it's going to be a good time. We're going to see. We'll see. So first off, on March 1st, we have Venus retrograde in Aries, and it will eventually move back into Pisces March 27th. So for me, Venus represents our relationships, not just with others, but also yourself as well. And Aries represents your confidence, who you are in a relationship, but also how can you be in a relationship while also maintaining your autonomy and maintaining your values, your integrity, and everything like that. So I think that I think that Venus retrograde is going to create a lot of reflection for how we operate in these connections and how we also show up for ourselves and fight for what we really want in whatever situation. And so Aries does represent something that is being severed. So it could be, that sounded very dramatic. That sounded so dramatic. But it could be that you might need to break off your connections with specific people because they're not serving you, they're causing you more chaos and harm. Then, are you gonna sit? Sit. It's okay. Yes. I love you too, but you gotta sit down. There we go. There we go. But there is a moment where you do have to take accountability because it's like, I attracted this person for whatever reason. And again, there's a whole lot that can kind of go into that conversation, you know, especially, you know what, therapy has saved me from a connection that was no longer serving me. And I am so grateful for it still to this day. And I learned so much about how I approach relationships from what I experienced as a child and those types of relationships with other women specifically. And I just recognize that I really have to fight for what I want in connections and not like, you know, that sounded terrible. And not like anything aggressive, but it's just like, if this is no longer serving me, I'm gonna have to cut this off. I will have a conversation first, but if you're still not willing to devote the time and energy to put in the work with me, because again, Venus does want that harmony and balance, it's a job. So hopefully this Venus retrograde in Aries will help you rethink how you approach relationships with yourself and with others and what you're gonna fight for when it comes down to your peace and well-being, because that is very important. If you don't have anything, at least have peace. And then Aries can kind of swoop in and provide that self-confidence that you need. Eventually, like I said earlier, Venus will be moving into Pisces, which it will give a little bit more of an easeful type of energy, and you can take time to reflect on what you've learned. And then Venus is gonna go direct and move back into Aries, and then it's like, okay, let me take action on what I've learned. And the thing with Piscean energy, sometimes it can be overly compassionate towards someone's situation, like, oh, they respond this way or react this way because they went through this when they were a child and all this. No. For a grown adult, it is your responsibility to be mindful of your triggers, to communicate your triggers, and to make sure that you don't overreact every single time someone hits your trigger. And again, you're allowed to feel your feelings, but again, if it's causing chaos, it's creating a toxic environment, it's not really worth it. It's not really worth it. And speaking from personal experience, so this is going to be a very radical, very interesting thing. And also, quick side note, don't forget to like and subscribe because it's fun over here. You're going to love it. Keep coming back. I always have great stuff dropping at least 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah. Next up, on March 14th, we have a Virgo full moon total lunar eclipse. Lot to say. So Virgo represents acts of service, paying attention to those little small details, and work and organization. So I think that it makes sense because we're entering springtime around this time. So very Marie Kondo your life, the perfect time to do so, and get rid of anything that no longer serves you. It no longer brings you excitement. Again, Marie Kondo, like straight up. So, but also not just getting rid of physical things, but also paying attention to what you're hanging on to on an emotional level, especially if it's for like nostalgic purposes. It's like, I used to do this, that, and the third for nostalgic purposes and just the memories, but now I actually don't really like it anymore. You know, so it's like, maybe I should kind of switch things up a little bit. And so the South Node, or K2, is in Virgo, which is where the eclipse is happening. And so what this represents is like the body of a headless dragon or snake, depending on who you're talking to. And so it represents the importance of separating yourself from different things that, again, no longer serve you. And that's, you know, in order to find deeper meaning in your life at the time. And especially if you're someone who places value on like physical possessions, it's like, okay, it's time to really reanalyze what I'm doing, because it's just not working. It's just not working. And also this Virgo eclipse could be talking about you not working so hard, because there has to be easier ways to get certain things done, and even like delegating tasks. That's sometimes easier said than done, unfortunately, but at least try, do the research. Like for example, I have been posting more on social media and YouTube and stuff like that. So ChatGPT has been very helpful with providing title ideas for my videos, for example. And you can put in like a specific prompt that's really, really helpful. And even getting like Final Cut Pro to help editing move a lot fast, like significantly faster than what I used to use, which I think I used to use CapCut, which is great. It's amazing, but it just works faster for me if using Final Cut Pro. So, you know, getting different things that can help you organize things a little bit better, so that you can be more efficient. And also, if you are interested in how these eclipses will affect you, not just in March, but over the next 6 months, I'm offering 15-minute astrology readings. So definitely hit the link in the bio and you can ask your question, and then we can see what's going on, because it's going to be affecting you in a different part of your chart. Like for me, it's going to be hitting my 4th house, so all the things dealing with the home. So I could be redecorating, getting some new things for the home. New plants would be also really great. And so Virgo is an earth sign, but it is ruled by Mercury, which represents communication and the mind. And Virgo energy does have a tendency to be very anxious and nervous, and have very like just a lot of nervous energy, because they tend to overanalyze different things. So I think this would be a great time to get into meditation, which is also ruled by the South Node, or K2, and just doing different things to ease the nervous system. That is another way that your energy could be wasted, and something that could be draining you that you're not fully aware of. So I think definitely trying to make sure, because it's like with the North Node, it represents the head. The South Node represents the body. Since Virgo is a very mental energy, it's like you have to make sure that, yes, you can think your way through different situations, but you also want to make sure that you're bringing that consideration down to your body, making sure that you are doing things that benefit your body. If you don't have the stamina to maintain what you're doing, it doesn't quite work out. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm offended. And also, again, like I said, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so it represents, you know, communication. So this could be a really great time to maybe even communicate with others and be very direct and precise about what you want to say, in order to make sure that in your connections, everything is a little bit more balanced. But even maybe even getting in touch with a therapist, per se, someone who can kind of help you deconstruct what's happening in your mind, so it doesn't feel so daunting and nerve-wracking, basically. And like I said, Virgos do have a very can be very anxious, or they can get overanalyze things. So it reminds me of that clip from the Renaissance concert film, documentary concert, where Beyonce is focused on the inflatable fingers, and her manager, Blue Ivy, was like,
from how nice everything else is.
You're wasting your time over fingers. You need rest.
That's such a stereotypical Virgo moment. Like, it's so funny. It's like, yes, perfection is really cool, but sometimes you want to focus on progress over perfection, because perfection doesn't really get you anywhere when it comes down to actually putting out like a fully realized thing. It's probably fine. It's probably fine, but you're being too hard on yourself. That is a very Virgo trait as well. You're being way too hard on yourself. And the last thing with the South Node in Virgo, just taking into account how you operate within the world and getting a little bit more in tune with spirituality. Like, I think yoga is such a perfect thing to become more spiritual. It's something that helps you work on your breath work, which helps you to be present in the moment, which I can't, I can see you. You gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. My little mascot. Say hi. Yes, good job. Also, you know, because we live in a very capitalistic world, so a lot of, okay, no, move, lay down, stop, lay down. We live in a very capitalistic world, and I think a lot of us have become a little very disconnected from the divine, you know, and you have a lot of people who claim to be gurus and men of the Lord, but it's just, I don't know, it's just, I can't, you know what, I can't articulate that right now. Maybe we'll come back to it, but basically there is a point where you're gonna have to be more connected with spirituality, the divine, whatever that looks like for you, or just being more conscious of your environment, as far as like maybe planting more trees and stuff like that, or growing a garden. Like, all of that is very divine activities to be honest with you. And it's like, if you're feeling empty inside, that is a sign that you need to be more in tune with spirituality. That, again, that's something that I can talk about at a later date, but again, meditation or paying attention to your dreams, some things might come up then, but you can find this balance between spirituality and having physical possessions, things that really bring you happiness and love and comfort, you know. So something to pay attention to during this eclipse season. Next up, we have Mercury retrograde in Aries on March 15th, and it will be moving back into Pisces on the 29th. Again, Mercury represents the way that we communicate. We might need to have very direct and precise conversations around what we need for, honestly, what we need for ourselves. How can we show up for ourselves, but also what do we need in our connections as well? What needs to change around you? Maybe you need to adjust your routines that are not so great. Like, I talked about this in a previous reading. If you're doom scrolling right before bed, you're not setting yourself up for success the next day. So these daily habits, these little things matter. And so be very mindful, because fiery Aries can be fiery and you have to be careful with when you're having conversations with loved ones that you don't get overly passionate, because it can start arguments and things like that, and it's like you didn't even get to get your point across because you were too intense about whatever you were saying. So take some moment before you need to have that conversation, journal it out, you know, do some talk therapy where you kind of talk to yourself in the mirror to really hone in on what you need to say and how you need to say it, so that everybody understands what the hell is going on, and you'll have a much better outcome than, you know, being very intense about it. Some astrologers and some spiritualists do not believe in manifesting during this time. So, and I too kind of agree. It is a bit chaotic, especially with the eclipses. They always bring a chaotic energy, and I have a story to tell y'all some other time. I think that instead, because the energies are so chaotic and unstable during this time, I think that Mercury retrograde can kind of help you rethink things, recalibrate and reanalyze and revise and reflect, actually, as well. And to set intentions, I think it's best to set intentions around being aware to all the lessons that you are supposed to learn around this time, so that way you can use that information for when Mercury does go direct and start moving forward, and make better decisions for yourself, or at least give certain things a try. And again, like I said, with this retrograde, it can really, I've definitely used retrogrades for planning and getting certain things together, and it can be really beneficial to help you edit your life. It could also be really beneficial to help you communicate with yourself better, not just with other people, and also doing a lot of like short-term and long-term planning for what you want to achieve. Because once March is over, the energies will kind of settle a little bit, and then it's like, okay, what did I learn? How can I use this to initiate with that Aries energy something new, something exciting, something that will bring a little bit more vibrancy and life into what I'm trying to do right now, or with Mercury into your everyday activities, you know, doing something to add a little razzle dazzle to what you're doing. And then when Mercury moves back into Pisces, it has this more of like a dreamy type of element to it. So you could just take some time to really take note of your dreams and aspirations. And again, with Mercury helping you to organize your day-to-day things so that you can make those things happen when Mercury moves back into Aries, because again, Aries is going to help you initiate, create that spark and that excitement to start something new. Then once we transition into Taurus season later on, you can maintain that momentum and keep it going. So I think it'll be very fun and exciting to see what you do with that energy. And quick side note, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because again, I know you're having fun. If you've gotten this far, come on, just do it. It's right. Is it here? Right there. And so on March 20th, we will be moving into Aries season, officially springtime, which I'm very excited for. Not excited for the pollen though, so it is what it is. So happy new year, happy new astrological new year. I'm just excited. And I also have a really exciting surprise for you guys. I'm starting another like little baby series. So a little baby astrology series actually. So I'm very excited to keep a lookout for that, specifically on March 20th or 21st. I haven't picked the date yet, but one of them days it's gonna be posted. And then on March 29th, we have a partial solar eclipse in Aries. On the chart, it kind of looks like it's still in Pisces, but it's still picking up that energy from Aries. So anyway, and like I said, the last time that there was an eclipse in Aries, I witnessed a situation that directly correlated with everything that was happening. With Aries, there was this aggression, this frustration, this violence, and it ended a relationship, Libra, because Aries is directly across from Libra, and Libra represents your relationship. So again, relationships, there was an end to a leasing agreement. Story for another time. Definitely comment down below if you want to hear that story, the story time in the future. So since we are experiencing this last eclipse in Aries, this is your moment to really reflect on what you learned since the eclipses started happening in Aries, which started happening, I want to say March 15th of 2025, right around that time. That was eclipse season, and that's when it hit everybody pretty hard. It was pretty crazy to see. And so the things that you need to ask yourself for reflection purposes is, what have I learned about embracing authenticity, especially within my relationships? How can I take actions on achieving my desires and goals and aspirations? How can I have autonomy in my relationships? And how can I stand up for myself within any situation that is not quite serving me in the way that I wanted it to? Okay, so Aries is in Rahu, or the North Node, which is the head of the dragon. So what it does is going to amplify whatever you're doing. So if you take this time to reflect and revise what you're doing, you're gonna set yourself up for success when we move further into Aries season, and to bring a very transformative vibe to your life as a whole. The last thing we have is Neptune in Aries, happening on March 30th. Neptune stays in one zodiac sign for about 14 years, so this is going to be a pretty transformative change for us, for everybody as a whole. So Neptune is very dreamy. It also represents illusions. This is a great time not to rush into anything, especially with that Aries energy. Really take your time, focus on the best decisions for your own well-being. As an example, for Aries, it does represent like a militant person, like someone in the military, and it's like they could present themselves as this great leader, someone who's very powerful, and they did great in battle, for example, but with Neptune bringing in the illusion and them glamorizing their situation, it might have not happened that way. It actually could have been a situation where it reminds me of that professor from Harry Potter, where he was like this renowned wizard, but he was actually fraudulent. That is very much Neptune and Aries for me. He's supposed to be this leader and protect these children and do all these things, but he has not done anything. He was terrible, but the glamour, the pizzazz, the charm, that was very much him. And there was other wizards that should have deserved the credit that he took, but here we are. So also be very mindful of people's credentials before you want to call them your leader. That could put you in a very confusing spot if you put someone on a pedestal as a leader when they don't actually deserve it. Because everything that glitters is not gold. Neptune also represents our dreams, like when we sleep, but also our dreams and aspirations. So pay attention to your dreams. It could be providing details on how to initiate certain things within your life, whatever that may look like for you. Again, if you want a chart reading to see where this is going to be happening in your chart, I am offering 15-minute readings, so definitely check the link down below. But also, again, this Aries energy is going to help you put forth the action to create these things within your life, because if it's just the dream within your mind, it's just going to stay in your mind. And we don't live in an era where you have time to waste time. So this is where we're at, and I wish you the best of luck, because I think that this could be a very beautiful energy to help you initiate a lot of really great things within your life, but it depends on how you want to utilize it. But again, if you want a chart reading that can help you direct your focus a little bit better, so you're not taking shots in the dark. So in conclusion of what we're going to be experiencing in March 2025, don't be impulsive. Focus on your short and long-term goals, for planning purposes. Be aware of the needs that need to change, especially if there's specific things that are causing you stress and anxiety. Good luck with your connections and how you operate within them, or if you have to cut certain people off for whatever reason. And I do believe that March is going to be an extremely transformative month. We are about to be brand new people by the end of March 2025, so it's going to be pretty incredible. Again, be gentle with yourself. That is the biggest thing. Be gentle with yourself. Take your time. Journal if you need to. Maybe look into finding a therapist that works for you. And I love you. You are loved. You deserve love. And I'm wishing you all the best. Good luck.